What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the pitch. Today is all about the DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2, a massive, that's an oxymoron, a very, very lightweight leather football boot. Now, I'm super excited about these. Lockhart Boot Blog, shout out Lockhart Boot Blog. Andrew is a fantastic dude. These are one of his favorite boots on the market to wear on a consistent basis, and first generation I absolutely loved, and these have been not worn a whole lot yet, but let's get into it. All right, boots are here. They are looking absolutely stunning in this sunshine. So these, for those of you who didn't watch my initial review, first of all, go do that. Second of all, these are an 8.5 US. So these are gonna fit pretty snug straight out of the box. I tend to go with an 8.5 in Asics boots because the length fits me perfectly. And the leather in the forefoot is so soft, and it definitely stretches and molds to my foot shape in the forefoot area. So that's one thing that I'm actually really excited for. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of playtime in these because I think they are excellent football boots. We're just going to do a single knot for today. But there you go. So that is what the boots look like. Really comfortable. That sole plate is really unique with the mesh that you can see here. So it's like an exposed mesh material. I get a lot of questions about these, particularly from the standpoint of, well, you know, if it's wet outside, do you feel it getting wet? Does it get soaking or whatever? And no, it's actually waterproof mesh. So that's something you don't have to worry about at all, which is good. Heel area is, per usual with Asics football boots, debatably the best on the market. I think their suede liners are incredible. They fit pretty much every foot shape, and they just wrap and give, it feels like your heel area is just getting a hug, which is such a good feeling, honestly. You know, your heels are oftentimes neglected, so you got to get that hug feeling. Actually, I'm gonna double knot both of these because I don't really want to take them off. Feeling so far already pretty snug straight out of the box, but as I said, the leather is soft enough that you really don't need a lot of break-in time with these. And the synthetic midfoot, their leather synthetic leather, I guess, midfoot is absolutely sensational in my opinion. And so these are gonna stretch and mold pretty quickly, I would imagine. So there you go. There's a good look at them. Very comfortable already. Let's jump into some footwork. Despite the way it looks, surprisingly, the first thing that I notice with these boots is actually how responsive the sole plate is. That's one thing I think Asics does very well, is make their sole plates in a way that is very comfortable, very neutral. The entire sole plate is conical studs. So I have, you know, obviously as we go through the playtest, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but so far, and with the experience that I do have in previous Asics boots, zero stud pressure on AG surfaces, which is super impressive. But as far as width is concerned, no issues so far, feeling good, and definitely feeling comfy straight out of the box. I'm not using the runner's knot, or runner's loop, I guess, which you do have an option for on these. But that's just something like you'll have to decide. I'll probably start to use them as I start to break them in a little bit more. All right, here we go. A little bit of dribbling. Good. Nice. Yeah, very comfortable. Very nice touch on the ball. I find that each surface, I know in a lot of other videos I've complained about the way that the leather forefoot is often like more bulbous or more high volume, like the leather is really thick and then the midfoot's really thin. 99-gram leather boot is exceptional, minus the fact that the two materials kind of have this really weird cutoff point where it feels super awkward. And these ones definitely don't have that, which is really nice. Creates a really seamless sensation when you're touching the ball in all the different areas of your foot, which is another reason why during season last year for Flower City, I very much preferred the DS Lite X-Fly 5 to the 99-gram leather boots, even though I wore the 99-gram leather boots slightly more. I wore them a little bit more often, but for games, the DS Lite X-Fly 5 were absolutely fantastic. Really, really enjoyed those. So these, I would say, give a very similar sensation on feet, which is awesome. I'm honestly so impressed with Asics and their heel areas. I just can't get over how like responsive, like if I'm doing this and I'm pushing the ball and I'm taking off, like my back foot doesn't slip at all. Any sort of rotational movement, my heel isn't slipping sideways. There's no like torsional slip at all. I just, it seems like the way that Asics does it is like very, very moldable materials, really plush kind of memory foam in the back, and then a suede liner. The suede liner being very durable, very responsive to your foot, and of course, a great option for wearing grip socks as well with them. I'm wearing WeFoot today, so they have a perfect match, in my opinion, for the feeling of this suede material. I would say if you're somebody who kind of leans on the larger side of a size, like if I were a 9 US, but kind of almost a 9.5, I would definitely go with a size 9 in these. But because I'm a little bit wider in the midfoot area and almost in between, I'm like an 8.75. The 8.5 actually fits me. It's pretty snug still, but all Asics boots are right out of the box, and these fit super, super well so far. Very nice. Yeah, God, I love the touch on these. It's just so nice. I would say the Moist Tech, which is their version of ACC, is hardly noticeable, but you do have a little bit of stickiness here where that Moist Tech is, and then these little graphics, which I'll show you right now. Okay, so here's the boots. There are the graphics. So you can see kind of where the blue is. There's like dark blue, and then there's like a turquoise blue, and both of those provide, there you go, nice in the sunshine, a really nice amount of just a little bit of texturing. It's really subtle, but you can feel it as you're manipulating the ball. So if I come over to the ball and I'm manipulating the ball like that, or passing or doing any sort of like in out movements, that's when you really feel that material, and you can kind of feel those subtle differences, which again, Asics going from last generation to this generation didn't really change a whole lot from these boots, except for those minor details, which in my opinion make all of the difference when you are looking at an on-ball sensation. And for those of you who don't know, Tomiyasu wears these boots, so that's like he's like the major head of this boot, other than a few players in Japan that probably most of you won't know. All right, we're gonna take this opportunity to take them off for the first time, getting into the last little footwork drill behind me as we get testing in them. But honestly, really, really impressed so far. The thing that I am I'd like to talk to Asics in Japan, because of course they don't actually make these anywhere else. You can get them from a couple different websites, Tokyo Football, eBay, a few other spots actually have the X-Fly Pro 2. And what I would say is that because I'm in between sizes, it gets a little bit awkward. The bottom line though is I can wear a 9 or an 8.5. I choose to wear an 8.5 because I would rather my feet fit super snug in them right out of the box, and then have the leather break in over time and get better and blah, 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 right? Like, I think that's more the vibe that I tend to go with. I tend to prefer boots that are a little bit smaller, unless the width won't break in, like an Alpha, for instance, and then I tend to go true to size so that the width is a little bit more forgiving. But a boot like this is definitely a boot that I would say, if you prefer boots to be like super, super snug, go half a size down. If you're somebody who's like, I actually am okay with a little bit of space on end of the foot. As the boot breaks in, it will, you know, stretch a little bit here in the forefoot area for sure, and in the midfoot as well. I would go true to size for these, but God, the underfoot feeling of an Asics boot and the way that they fit your foot is just, like at this point, there are very few other boots that I will voluntarily wear in a game ahead of an Asics boot. And the only reason for that is because this doesn't have, say, like a grip element that I really enjoy playing with, but that's just a personal thing, right? Like some people don't want that, and so I would say this is definitely a boot that you should consider. So talking competition then, these are a direct competitor with the Morelia Neo series. Now, the Neo series, of course, is broken up into Morelia Neo 4 and Neo 4 Beta. Neo 4 Beta is the one with the one-piece upper construction. It's got like a synthetic-based mesh material for the midfoot, the knit in the lacing system area, and it's very much like a sock-like feel. I think these definitely, you know, more directly compete with the Morelia Neo 4 made in Japan's, and I would say these are easily on par with those, if not even more comfortable. From a leather perspective, I would say they're both top. I would say Mizuno maybe edges these out in the forefoot, but I would say the synthetic of the Asics is actually better than the Mizuno's in my opinion. It's a little more robust. They're about the same like thickness, so they're very, very thin micro synthetics, very nice, and very similar football boots, to be fair. But I would say that for the most part, the midfoot of these is superior simply because it's got a little bit more oomph to it. It's a little bit more robust, and then the leather on the Mizuno is maybe a 0.5% better, just a little bit more plush. Heel anything from here back, I would say, and the lacing system, in my opinion, Asics all the way. So from a competition standpoint, these have to be, I mean, the Mizunos are hard to argue with. I think I prefer the Mizuno sole plate as well. So then it becomes kind of an interesting one. But God, both of these are so fantastic. Great football boots, regardless of which one you decide to pick up. Last little bit of dribbling here before we get into some ball striking. So just get into a little bit of a figure 8 drill, and then all the way around. We'll go around the other way too. Lovely. Sole plate feels super grounded on AG. They're definitely long enough to play comfortable on FG as well, which is always a great thing. And all the way back. Nice. Yeah, no BS. These boots are absolutely fantastic and already so comfortable, even with only about an hour of playtime in them. All right, here we go. Second round, a little bit, go the other way. Use your other foot if you want a little bit of a challenge. This is a great drill for midfielders, wingers, anybody who needs short, sharp, tight space dribbling. Still working on that right foot, per usual. Nice. Yeah, lovely. Let's get into some shooting. A little warm up here, so all it's gonna be is a little juggle, touchdown, and then bend into the far corner. My goal is not to like shoot the crap out of it, but just to get a little bit of placement, test out the way that these bend, which, as you guys know, this particular movement, so whether you're bending a ball like that, or if that's a whipped cross, right? If I'm coming in and that's whipping across, that's the area of the foot that I got really annoyed with the X99 99 point leather boots, which for all intents and purposes are really good, but the difference between and the lack of control you have between the midfoot and the toe box area, the change in like if the fist is the leather and my hand like this is the synthetic, it creates this really weird bulbous area. And maybe what I'll do is I'll show you guys in the studio, which I know I've done a couple different times from the standpoint of whatchamacallit, like in reviews and stuff. But that area is so much more controllable here because the leather is so plush and thin. It mimics the midfoot area way better than the difference between the toe box and the midfoot in those 99-gram leather boots. So all that to say, get these instead of the 99-gram leather boots. First of all, these are way more available to the mass public, even if, little like top spin on that. Even if you have to import these from Japan, go to Tokyo Football and buy them, because Tokyo Football has international shipping and they're fantastic. So that's who I always recommend, because they've got insane stock and it's always stuff that you can never find in America or here in Australia. And so for me, they are absolutely the go-to. See what I mean? Like, that is so much more controllable, whereas it feels like those 99-gram leather boots just eh. And I would honestly say that due to the plushness, even though I would say the quality, oh, hello. Well, don't try and talk and play, ladies and gentlemen. I'll finish my thought in a minute once I go get that ball. Little winger action. Okay, so let's shoot first. Oh, God, I'm just loving the post today, hey. Okay, so what I was saying before, Mizuno, Morelia Neo 4. So Neo 4 has more plush leather, but the reason that I'll probably pick these during like a game type situation is because of that, and also because of the fact that the plushness of the leather causes a little bit of that discrepancy in and difference in the way that the upper and a little bit off, and the forefoot feels from the midfoot, right? So plusher leather, a little bit higher volume with the thin midfoot creates that difference that I don't like. And whereas these have a really nice and premium leather, but it's not as like pillowy soft, making it just, oh, such a clean striking surface. I'll show you. All right, see what I mean? So look where that stitch is. See how if I turn my foot like that, you almost can't notice. Let me put my finger there. Okay, woo. See how there's your leather and there is your synthetic. And that stitch right there that goes right along that line, you can barely see the difference between the leather and the synthetic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do a boot with mixed materials. Right, here we go. Right foot action, a little bit of weak foot. Ooh, a little knuckle off target, but getting that technique down. Try to push it a little bit further inside. Little drop step, boom. There we go. Yep, getting there. A little bit closer. These feel great. Toes are feeling a little bit cramped for sure, but that's to be expected from a half a size down. Regardless of kind of who you are, they're gonna fit a little bit cramped straight out of the box, but not to worry. If you can handle a little bit of annoyance and cramping, then they'll fit you perfectly. Let's go one more. I'm hitting that same kind of outside spot. I just need to wrap my foot around it a little bit more. Hey, here we go, touch, play. Oh man, I'm hitting that same like within 6 inches of that outside post. Well, we'll keep working on it. All right, let's get a couple free kicks in. Beautiful position to the right side of the post. My goal is to get them up and over and into that near post area. So we'll see how we go. Feeling pretty good, I think. Here we go. Well, just got to execute. All right, here we go. Really nice feeling though, regardless of whether I can actually shoot a soccer ball. These are lovely. They feel so nice. Striking surface is really clean, no BS. Yes, it's a classic. It's a little bit more of a classic silo with the U-throat tongue and all that stuff. But the minor upgrades that they've made over 2 generations now really is impressive. Man, I gotta get it up and over, eh? These are all gonna be goals, by the way. They're just gonna go through the wall. So don't worry. You can trash talk me in the comments if you want, But as you guys know, if I tell you that I'm not shooting well, what the hell are you gonna make fun of me for, you know? There you go. Lovely. Fourth time's a charm. All right, let's wrap this baby up. All right, fam, that is gonna wrap up today's video on the Asics DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2. These are a pair of football boots that I thoroughly enjoy wearing. Leather is getting really, really buttery soft, very enjoyable. The midfoot has given me absolutely no hot spots. And in fact, that's one thing for you guys who are wider foot shapes. If you guys have a wider midfoot and you are interested in a pair of boots that's never gonna give you any issues when it comes to breaking in this area, the Asics synthetic football boots are really, really hard to argue with. The Ultreza 3, the DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2, which is these, the DS Lite X-Fly 5, which is their kind of other more control boot. It's very, very similar to these, just a different, slightly different like overall shape and stuff. I actually have 2 pairs of those coming pretty soon. So we'll be doing like a comparison between the synthetic and the leather model and giving you guys probably a comparison between these and the DS Lite X-Fly 5 normal editions as well. The synthetic midfoot that they have come up with in the Asics lineup is absolutely sensational. There's really nothing I can say about it that's negative, and there is 0 hot spots. So although my feet are feeling a little bit cramped in the forefoot, that's just part of the game going half a size down. I'm okay dealing with that. If you're not, go true to size. But overall, absolutely fantastic fitting pair of football boots. I will be definitely rocking these in the next couple training sessions, and probably a match or 2 as well coming up here. We'll try to get some footage of that as well. And yeah, cannot speak highly enough about these. If you guys are interested in a pair, as I said before, go to Tokyo Football. They perform well. They're gonna ship to your house really quickly. And yeah, you're gonna enjoy them, I think, because these are just a class pair of boots. And by the way, they are freakishly light. Like, they're so light, they're deceivingly lightweight for a leather pair of football boots. So I don't know, man. Asics has done something pretty incredible here, and would highly recommend picking up a pair of DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2s. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, let me know down in the comment section below which boots you want to see me do a playtest of. Can't speak right now. Playtest of next, and we will roll on. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.